the one, the only, Ben Okay, good evening and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube Iyun Sion. Today we're doing Pesach Pesachim, Perek Beis, Mishnayos Vav and Zayin. I want to talk about Mishnah Vav today, which talks about maror. There's 5 different types of herbs you can use for maror. The best is chazeres. Most people translate it as romaine lettuce. That's why in the firm world, most people use romaine lettuce. Where I come from, in the modern Orthodox world, some sort of, I don't even know what it's called, scientifically, some sort of bitter stalk. Everyone knows what it is. People use it for maror. I would guess that's maror. That's the last thing. That's the last best thing. The Mishnah Berurah says the best thing to have is chazer. That's why all the firm people have romaine lettuce, even though they have to check it. And the problem with that is also, it says in the Mishnah, lo shlukin, you can't soak it in water. But in order to make sure there's no bugs in your romaine lettuce, you got to soak it in water. So I don't know how people allow themselves to do this. You're not yotze. If you're sholik it, right? Even though you're doing it at l'shem shamayim to get out all the terrible bugs that are in there, you're not yotze the mitzvah of maror, so you're not helping yourself. Anyway, besides that point, I would like to say that I really believe last year I discovered a different spirit, an interesting type of spirit. Usually, when you drink scotch or whiskey or bourbon, no one really likes that stuff, Some people like the feeling when it goes down. It burns a little bit. No one really likes it. But it doesn't taste bad. I actually tasted a spirit which really tastes bad, bitter. David Campari. If you know what David Campari is, go to your liquor store, ask for David Campari. They'll all have it because it's a famous drink from Milan, Italy. David Campari. And it's actually a bitter spirit. It's about 25% alcohol by volume. It's very bitter. And did you know something interesting? The shot glasses, you know how much is contained in a shot glass? It's 1 ounce, or a kazayas. Approximately, kazayas is approximately 1.1 ounce or 1 ounce. So that's all you got to do. You tell David Campari in your shot glass and drink it along with your lamb chops, which is your Korban Pesach. Korban Pesach is on the lamb, right? And your matzahs, your pitas. Last night I didn't have lamb chops. I had a steak. I had a ribeye steak with pitas, not David Campari. But I made a video last year where I had all 3. I had the lamb chops, I had David Campari, and I had pitas. Pitas really are not chametz, but we won't talk about it. Chametz has to rise. Pitas don't rise. Come on. Look at the Sephardi matzah. Sephardi matzah is chametz according to most Ashkenazim. Anyway, the point is that what does it say? Bein lachem, bein yavesha, whether it's moist or dry. I mean, if we're talking about romaine lettuce, right? Romaine lettuce, whether it's moist or dry. I mean, what, you buy it at the package or put it in the water? I mean, what are we talking about over here? Lach innovation is usually used by spices, and usually the way you make drinks like David Campari is that you distill certain herbs, right? It's not just naturally bitter. They take herbs which are bitter and they distill them, and that's why it has alcohol in them, along with other liquids over there. They're distilling over there. So it's not the bitter herbs. You're not eating the bitter herbs. You're drinking a drink which is distilled from bitter herbs. Whether the herbs are dry, you can go if you go spices. If you have any experience in the kitchen, right? Spices are sold dried out, and they're also sold moist, right? Fresh, right? Obviously, the fresh ones taste a lot better. You can go and buy basil, fresh basil. You can buy basil that's crushed up and dried out. So that's what it means. Bein lachem bein yavesha. That's what I really believe. Whether you made the Campari with dried out herbs or moist herbs, it really doesn't make a difference. That's what I think it is. I don't know what these 5 different types of maror that are listed in the Mishnah, what precisely they are. But I don't really think it makes a difference. I think there may be examples. But David Campari comes from some bitter herbs, and it's probably one of those in the Mishnah, because the Torah has to make sense for all generations. The Torah knew about 2023 and David Campari and Ben Sion Lang, so it has to be true, right? Anyway, that's the chiddush for today. I hope you enjoyed. See you on the next one.